live.
Oh, we're live.
Yeah, we're live.
All right. You guys ready? Everybody ready? Dr. Walker, you ready? Oh, lip gloss time. Oh, Jesus.
I'm ready.
All right, it's going to need a minute. All right, you good now? Kori, you still on Instagram, Joe?
I'm about to go live on YouTube. I mean, what's this called? Facebook. Because I'm blocked on Instagram, y'all.
I know. Still on Instagram, Joe.
I gotta tell you
First
that.
person I've ever met. All right, you ready?
I'm ready. I gotta tell you too. Sorry.
Here we go. We'll briefly go over it. Yes, sir. And we are back again with your new favorite podcast. Always, it's your favorite Mason. And
You already know it's your girl Kori Deez, aka Living Steve, aka the host, aka the best one, aka a whole lot of aka for this mother. Welcome back to Hot everybody. So we have two all-star guests here. One that's new to the show, and not new to the show, but new to live on the show. And all-star guest Mel that everybody loves, Mel DeMarco.
oh,
John DeMarco.
And then we have Dr. Walker here tonight for tonight's show. Welcome. Yes. So, as y'all already know, we do our mental health check-in. We're going to jump into it because today is a long and lengthy and deep show. Of course, lengthy, deep, that's a lot.
Wow.
But, y'all don't got no behavior on this show. I just tell y'all. But listen, so we going to jump
This is why you're in Instagram jail. This is why you're in Instagram jail.
Yo, and let me tell you, when they was
comments like that.
Listen,
Instagram has blocked you.
When Fat Joe was doing his live the other day, Mason, they wrote me back something because I said something about this nigga pussy count going down because of what he said, and it was like, this is the comment.
Like you still doing it?
Yeah, I was like, they're gonna delete my shit.
But you still up here?
No, this is YouTube. This is different.
Oh boy, it's over for you in a minute. I swear. I swear.
Well, let's just start with I feel like I think it's right for Dr. Walker to say how everybody else's mental health is doing before we jump into the show, because she's like, that's what she does. I mean, you're not at work, you off the clock, but you can do a mental health check.
Yeah, you let the clock out. But let's say, so we can do mental health checks. So identifying, how was your day? Where are you right now presently?
Mel?
Yo, that was a quick shift. Like,
look, you see how she put that straight on me? Like, bam! Like, let's see a Mel.
Mel.
Actually, I've been having a good week because I've actually been doing a lot of meditation. This week, I got back into meditating again. So I'm selfishing. I'm saying it right. Reintroducing myself to being selfish.
Ooh,
okay.
So I'm definitely working on me right now. So that's where I'm at. So I feel pretty good, actually. I do.
Okay.
That's to be.
Ow. Well,
I like that.
You, Dr. Walker, because it's a lot of times that we don't check on our therapist. We need to check on our therapist. Well, if you go to therapy, ask your therapist how she doing today. If she wants to hear your problem.
Absolutely.
So you feel like hearing our problems today? How are you today? Where are you at?
I'm geared for it. I'm absolutely up for the challenge.
Okay.
After 8 hours of straight talk, this is fine. This is a different type of forum. So I'm kind of open to the idea and seeing what I can provide in terms of what I can receive. But everything's a learning process. It's not just one way.
Absolutely.
Well said. Bars.
Mason, how are you today?
Hey, what's up? Well, I saw you on Tuesday. We was in a rush to get off on Tuesday. We was having a little too much
So
fun.
you was in a rush, Mason. You left me.
Yes, I
versus-
was. I wanted to see that versus. I was highly
Versus?
disappointed though.
Don't do that to our audience. Tell them the truth. Tell them that you was like, the questions are over. The questions are no.
I was.
And
Yes.
I was definitely like,
Yes, we left about 3 or 4 questions on the table, but you know,
Did y'all really?
we did.
But did y'all
We had
enjoy
to go.
versus? That's the most important part.
We absolutely, hello, welcome to Hushmouth. We did enjoy versus. You didn't see it. Did you watch it, Miss Mocha?
No.
Is she frozen? Oh,
She's frozen.
did you watch it?
The verses?
Yes.
I watched some of it. Okay. I'm on Team Javo only because they're both hookers. Like they hook lines and sinkers, and like their hits was always based on somebody else's collaboration. So I was Team Javo.
I was Team Daru too. However, Mason
I was rooting for Joe. I was rooting for Joe. Yes, I thought his personality would have shined through.
I'm with you.
I was rooting. I was hoping it was going to be a little bit more challenging.
No,
I didn't even know Ja Rule had verses. Like I didn't know. I'm like I missed. He was like for so long. All you heard him was a hook.
Right.
For so
He
long.
makes hits.
So I was
Man,
kinda-
literal verses.
I was kind of like,
He makes the songs. He's not the hook guy. He's the song maker, the beat maker, the room shaker, the love maker.
Oh,
wow!
wow.
Give me my Elsa Marco right now. Hit it.
Here you go. Starting already.
Come on, go. Come on, go.
Oh God! You want to stop bullying Mason, making him give you the marble?
Because I'm a bully though.
Yes, Ashanti was the winner of the night. I agree.
She was the winner.
Yeah, I like
of the night.
Shanti.
It was a good versus. I appreciate
sorry, I
Joe for apologizing to those ladies for. He was in fight mode. He was in like battle mode. He was in rapper mode.
Straight battle form.
But he apologized. He's a man. I say send them their Hermes bags now in the mail. Since everybody got Hermes bags, send them theirs too. Yeah, send them.
He should send them 2. They should each get 2.
They should get 2.
He called them Dusty, and then after he called them Dusty, he said he found them in a crack house. So 1 for Dusty and 1 for the crack house.
And then he
2
said,
bags
"You need
each.
to feed them girls crack. You need to feed them girls." And that's when we came on. And I was like, I was texting you the whole time, and I was actually texting Nalia.
I didn't know who he was talking about.
He never did
Listen,
that.
I was telling you,
He's never
everything.
lost
We was
his
talking the whole
character
time.
like that.
He's usually a good guy.
Yes, he is. I mean, I know he was just in battle mode. He just came ready. He was raw.
He was.
He couldn't stop. He was ready.
He was raw.
So, Kori, how's your mental health though? Overall, how's your week going?
My week is going good. I just saw you on Tuesday. I was in here dancing at
Wednesday happened.
Wednesday did happen. It was one day in between the next time I seen you. Nothing really happened. I'm here. I got my 3-year-old goddaughter. She's driving me crazy. It's amazing. I know everybody probably worried about my mental health because I made a post about our kids being home for 548 days now straight. And that I was thinking about drowning myself. But
You literally said send help. Like that's what your post said. Send help.
Well, it was send help because my friend that I tagged, she's an EMS worker. So she runs around New York City helping everybody. So shout out to you, Trisha. Yeah. I was just trying to, I was going through something. I was like, I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, let's jump into this topic.
Dr. Walker is assessing you as you speak.
And she
Dr.
knows.
Walker? She knows when I need real help and when I don't. She's my doctor.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's scary. She's your doctor.
It's scary for you.
Yeah. It takes a heck of a person to be your doctor.
Hello. Welcome to Hush Your Mouth. All right, let's jump into the topic. So tonight, guys, we are here back with another, I'd say, what would you say this topic is, Mason?
I think it's one of those topics where we're going to pause for the next 2 sentences. We're going to touch on a lot of feelings, a lot of emotions. We're going to talk about ourselves and how we came to be the people that we are today, the things that affected us early in life, things that affected us in our relationships with our partners, with our children, with our, friends. So we're going to talk about a lot of love things, how we love, how we like to give love, how we like to receive love. And we're just going to try to hear from you guys about how you like to give love, how you like to receive love. That's what we're
I don't
talking
know
about.
how our guests feel about this topic, but I feel like, this topic and everything that is put into this topic is the things that drive us on a regular basis. And I'm not going to jump too much into that, but I feel like these type of things are important to talk about because everybody wants to be in love. Everybody craves for love.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Walker got her eyes, like her eyebrows was raised, and I'm like, I'm trying to read her facial expressions. But how do you feel about this topic now?
Oh, love is a very it's an action word, and there are several different types of love. And although people may crave love, if your core beliefs are not in alignment with what your love language is, whether it's a intimate, romantic, or familiar family love, it's going to be different across the board. So it starts with your core belief and what it is about you that makes you believe that you want to receive love, and the love that you want to receive, are you willing to give it? So it's almost like you want to be reciprocal on every level, but relationships were different. Your maternal relationship, your paternal relationship, your girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, friend, whomever it is, it always weighs differently because of the give and take expectation. Now, without the give and take expectation, would you still say you have love for a person? So it's all about the core belief of what you have.
Absolutely.
How you feel about this topic? I didn't even introduce the topic to the people yet. So the topic today is the topic today is the power of love. So how you feel about the power of love before we jump into question number one? Because that's not question number one, but I'm just asking you how you feel about the topic.
I just believe love is important, especially yourself. So that's just for, just sum it up and we'll get more into it as we go along. I'm not going to hold up the time.
All right, Mason, let's just jump right into it.
All right. First question. So how important is love within your own personal development?
You want me to go first?
Go ahead.
I'll go first. I'll go first. All right, so love for me is important in my own personal development because it's what drives me to be better every day. It continues to make my life meaningful. So I got some notes over here. Y'all know I'll be coming to the show with my notes because I think I'm a whole therapist myself. So what I had, and I don't got to reveal my sources. We know it came from Google, but they're factual. Love causes the body to feel good hormones that trigger positive energy. Love of a partner, children, and relatives make our lives meaningful and gives us purpose. Love sharpens skills like dedication, passion, and consistency, which are needed in the everyday life. Love is a path to self-discovery and teaches us to accept flaws and levels of forgiveness and patience. Love is an excellent source of motivation and pushes you forward for greatness and for self and for the people that you love. So for me, it does all of those things. Like, it helps me sharpen my skills. I want to be better for my kids. I want to be the best person that I could be. I want to be better for my relationship. I just want to be better in general. And love is the main course of those things that drives me as a person to do those things. It makes me challenge myself.
Well said.
You was writing down my notes today?
No,
you was taking notes for me?
No.
Oh.
Something that came to my mind.
You should have.
Ouch already. Okay. She's coming out. Coming out.
Okay.
Number one.
Okay. Love for me is see, I'm a spiritual being. So love for me is God. God is love. So I told
Time out. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to stop him. I'm gonna choke on my drink. Where was my gun?
Those were bars. You didn't mention God.
No, because she mentioned God, she got the L to mark.
Are you challenging God? Are you challenging God?
I can't. My arms are too short to box with God. But
Right. There you go.
I'm gonna let God stand one more time.
Stop playing.
I didn't want to give gunshots with the doctor like right there. I was just like, yeah.
That's all right. She knows how to duck, stop, drop, and roll, duck and move. She knows how to shake. Don't do that. All right, go ahead, Mel. Sorry. God is love.
Nah, but for me, God is love. So love is all the things that I know. Love is being patient. Love is being kind. You know, love is unconditional. You know, love is a feeling that makes you feel safe. You know, love is full of emotions because it's God. So that's why I believe that when people say love is serious for me. You know, it's not just a word. It means a lot to me because I associate loving someone to that caliber of your partner is probably the next thing to how much you love God. You know, because that is the love that you know, that love is different. Like, you know, I got kids. And I can never love my kids like, you know, I don't want to go into that because I know we're going to get to it later, but kids wants to sometimes to compare their love to how you feel about your partner. And that was, you can't. That love that I feel for my partner, because that's why it's called faith, family, and then finances. So I love God. I'm going to love the person that I'm with as well as my family. But, you know, that's the order for me. So when I love hard because I know that it's real. It's supposed to be eternal. Right. It's supposed to be forever. You know what I mean?
Right. No, that's so. I'm sorry, I'm laughing over here because I can't see Side Penalty. I know she's a regular here on the show and does a lot of this stuff, but she's rooting for her. Yes, driving home. All right.
Yeah,
Mason.
Yeah, the bar is there. I think for me, love is a driving force. So love for me is the manifestation of everything within. It's a feeling. It's a high level of a feeling. I don't want to say it's God because that's already been said, but I mean it's high level, and I think that love is eternal. I think that love is being in love is different than love. I think that I can have love for you but not be in love with you. I think that love is put different ways. The way I love my friend is not the same way that I love the person that I'm romantically involved with. It's not the same way that I love my children. It's not the same way that I may love somebody that is no longer in my life, but I can't be around. So for me, love manifests itself in different ways. I have exes that I love that I will never be around again, but I still know that I love them. The love doesn't die. It just changes into something else. So for me, love is that driving force. It's that faith. It's that action. It's all those things that move me into doing things and into, you know, having that feeling and that high level of feeling. So I think that love is probably the most powerful emotion and feeling. And it's followed by like anger and hate. And I think that it's right there. And I think you cross the line sometimes. I think you got to love somebody to hate them. But I can go on forever talking about that. But
can you have loved them at some point and then you can grow to hate them because you have loved them? Or like, what do you like? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, because you care about them, so you have to have a high level of care for someone.
Why can't I hate your
hate is the most visual. It's visceral. It's inside. It's a very strong emotion, and the reason you have that strong emotion is because at some point or in some way, shape, or form, you love that person, and they can drive you to that level
to make you hate them.
Yeah,
right. Only because you love them at a high standards, like he said. That's not something you feel. Hate is just when you could feel that for a person. I think that you have to you have to have love for that person. Everybody can't make you angry. Everybody can't hurt you. Everybody can't get you to that point that person's gets you.
The question was, how is this important to your own development? But Dr. Walker, please let us know how love is important to our own development.
I told you my answer. I hope you ain't think I was dancing. Everyone thinks I dance around some questions, so I hope y'all got it.
We all heard here.
Well,
Hey,
love is subjective to who you are, right? So everything that you said is owned by you. So it's you for you. You can only describe your love based off of your growth and development, and it's a key aspect of helping center or mold you as an adult. If you think about as a child, the love we always say is unconditional, but love from a human is always conditional. The only love that's unconditional, as you guys all said, was love of God. That's the only love that comes without any condition, any judgment, any hypocrisy, anything. But when you look at the person you love, whether it's a parent, non-parent, friend, there's always a condition. So it's understanding in that core belief of the condition.
She needed it all. She needed it all. She needed it all.
She got all the sound effects.
She checked us all.
So, but love is development. One of the key things that you guys all kind of spoke about was like the love, and then you reverse it into a hate. It's never really hate. It's really bitterness and unforgiveness that drives you to the idea of hate. Because one thing is that if you saw the person in the street and they were going to die, would you stop to help them? Because hatred would have you step over them. But because of the love that you all kind of express that you have for a person or have for a person, you would be there to assist. So it's a difference. So you need to identify and understand the root of hate, which there's no coming back from, and the root of bitterness and unforgiveness, that it will drive you to that loving point where you remember this person was significant to me at one point, and I can't watch him die, or I can't watch him suffer. So it's your core belief again. It goes back to your core belief.
Well said. I appreciate the clarity.
I mean, like, she just clarified it for everybody. Hold up, let me take notes.
Are y'all gonna watch them people that y'all said y'all
I'm getting a free session. I'm taking notes. I ain't got to pay for this counseling.
Trust me, I'm paying for it. Yeah. So Alicia Hughes says yes, but a lot of hate comes from being hurt in the past also. I mean, so you're saying trauma? We're gonna get there, Alicia. You ahead of the game. Get there. Hold on, baby girl.
Excuse me.
So we're on question 2. And Mason, is that guest still in the back?
Yep, they're there.
Also, just bring them on for question 2 and then let them know they're here for question 2. They can give us their take. Hello. Welcome to Hush Your Mouth. We didn't want to have you sitting back there for too long, Theory Ali. You got to unmute your mic. Is he not unmuting his mic?
Do you
hear me?
He could probably hear us, but he just needs to unmute your mic.
Okay, well, while he's getting
There we go.
Welcome to Hush Your Mouth.
I was trying to get my camera right. Y'all caught me off guard.
Oh, okay. We should have wrote you in the private chat. Sorry.
Oh, good. I be on the road a lot.
So
what's up with y'all? Talk to me.
So first of all, we want to know, how are you today?
Great as long as we're above water, we great. You know what I mean?
Amen. So welcome to Hush Your Mouth. It's the first time here, and I appreciate you for asking to be on the show and giving us your time. We're gonna have you here on for question 2, which was, what's the difference between being raised on love versus raised on survival?
Well, first off, I'd like to say I appreciate y'all for having me on. That's first off. I appreciate y'all for having this platform. But raised off the Bible and raised off love, like the Bible gonna teach you a certain type of morale. So
no, survival, not the Bible.
Survival. Oh, survival gonna teach. Okay, survival gonna just make you just do what you got to do to get out there. You're gonna get in where you fit in with survival. A lot of people raised off survival, like the single mother, especially a single black mother in America, raised off survival right now. You don't need a man. You independent. Do what you got to do. You know, raise your kids. It's you and your kids. You don't need nobody. You can have somebody if you want to, type of thing. So, and as far as the male, you know, survival is like, you know, be a bachelor, move from woman to woman, like, you know, make the moves you want to make. So I mean, it don't really help. Survival don't really help, but it make you strong. That's the difference. But,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
love a different story. Love gonna make you compassionate. It's gonna make you loyal in some ways, but at the same time, it's gonna get your heart broken plenty of times. So it's gonna be learning curves either way you go.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. No, give him an applause, Mason.
He's like, thank you.
I want him to have
Appreciate it,
this.
Mace.
So thank you. We really do appreciate your applause, and I want you to stay tuned to hear how we respond to this question. You was the first person to answer this question, so thank you for jumping out there and being the first person to answer this question. But I want you to also tell us about you a little bit, and what you are here today.
Okay, so Theory Ali, Google me, Mr. Google me, aka Super Saiyan Juvie Power Up. Really, I just promote the message, change, save, and inspire. Came across this platform. I'm always interested in getting out a message and, you know, being able to affect the people in some way, in some positive way. I'm a community guy, so, you know, support the movement. I appreciate anybody who want to support the movement.
Where
are you from?
I'm from Florida.
Okay, all right.
I heard the accent a little bit.
I thought so. That's why I asked.
Yeah, but I was going back and forth to Atlanta too. My people's in Atlanta, so I got it's a little mix in there.
Okay. So Theory, are you a artist? Are you like, are you a rapper? Are you a singer? You're a producer?
Yeah, I'm an artist, man. I'm an artist.
Okay.
I'm a rapper. Don't get me wrong, but I'm an artist. I sing and all the above. Like I'm harmonized and all that. You got to go Google that, man. Theory Ali. Google.
You have a single out? You have any music out that we should highlight?
I just released the album in April.
Okay, that's what's up. And if we could pick one song, or if you could pick one song off your album that everybody should listen to, what is that one song? So if we want to know who Theory Ali is, and you were out there and you're like, you can listen to this one song, you can know who I am from this one body of work. What one body or what song would you tell everyone to go listen to? Because that's the one they're going to listen to right now.
Theory Ali, All Guys Lie.
All Guys Lie.
I like that.
I do like that.
That's some real
oh, my brother.
You're in trouble. Brothers.
You put me on a hot seat when you leave, Theory. Like, I'm going to have to answer the All Guys Live for the rest of this whole podcast, bro.
You write it down.
Let's make it the hottest topic in America.
All Guys Live, Theory Ali. Thank you for joining us. Have a good night, bro. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. All
right.
Yeah. All right, so for question number 2, thank you. First of all, I want to say thank you so much, Theory Ali, for jumping on and for coming on to Hush Your Mouth. We appreciate you here. And everybody go check out Mr. Google Me and All Guys Lie, because all guys motherfucking lie. But anyway.
Black men don't cheat. Say it. Go ahead. Say something. I know you're going to say something. Say something. I'm leaving that open. That was the alley-oop for you. That was the alley-oop. Go ahead. Dunk it.
What did I do? Did I dunk it? I don't want to dunk it. No, I dunked it. I like bobbed and weaved or something.
Yeah.
Sports references. Yes. Okay.
Nathan, what does this question mean for you? Let's keep it rolling.
The difference between raised on love and raised on survival, there's a huge difference. For me, raised on love is different than raised on survival. Being, like Theory's talked about, in a single parent household, you're just trying to move and get to that next level, get to that next level, get to that next level. There's nothing more to it than getting to that next level, getting to that next day, finding that next meal if that's the challenge of the day. If the challenge is going to school, that's the challenge of the day. Whatever the challenge of the day is, that's what you're getting on. Being raised on love is a little bit more tender. It's a little bit more caring. I think it's more about the home structure and inside the home. So it's both things are located inside the home. So it's the love or the survival, depending on the situation. Sometimes it's a mix of both. So there's a big difference. The love is probably the better one, but the survival is sometimes the necessary one.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Well, I was raised on love. I never had to struggle or anything as a child. I pretty much lived in a 2-parent home. I didn't know anything about survival. When I got with my wife, she taught me how to survive. Because I was given everything. I was a fortunate child. I was raised in a house with. I had a summer room and a winter room that I slept in. In Brooklyn, in the brownstone. Okay, so. I was pretty, in our time, my family was blessed. We were pretty blessed. So the first time I encountered survival mode was when I was with my present wife. We lived in a situation that if it was not for her, I would have packed my bags up and went home. So I learned the difference between survival mode and love. She was raised by a single mother. It was her and her mother raised her and all her siblings by herself. I was raised in a house with my mother and my father and my siblings, and my dad provided everything. My mom stayed home with us, and my dad worked. So we didn't have to do survival because, that's why I say I think there's a difference in that. Being raised in love and being raised in survival mode is totally different. I wasn't prepared for a lot of things that came forth towards us because I never had to fight for anything. I was raised in a loving, what most people might call perfect household. So when the struggle came, I had to be real with myself. I was ready to run. But she told me, I got us. I got us. So I learned that there's a definitely difference between survival and love, because we survived. But we survived because
she knew how to.
No, we survived because we had love.
Oh.
When you made us survive, the love. That's why when you separate it, I'm like, yeah, you can try to separate it, but at the end of the day, the real survival became between us. What she knew, but what she taught me, but my love, I was able to receive and let her lead.
Yes, I was going to say.
You understand what I'm saying? I had to be able to let her lead.
Right.
So the love that I was taught from a child allowed me to be able to step back and say, take the reins, because I don't know what I'm doing.
You know what? That's something that's real dope about people that is raised on love, what you're saying right there, because you guys are more willing to allow someone to lead than a person that was raised on survival. I'm going to speak as a person that I feel like I was raised on survival. Even though you had like a summer home and stuff like that in Brooklyn, like I grew up, like in my younger years, my grandparents had a brownstone and so on and so forth, and they are like Black pioneers, so shout outs to them. But that's when we go back to our conversation about generational curses. My mom was raised privileged. I wasn't raised privileged. I grew up in foster homes and so on and so forth. So that's what built me. I was in 14 foster homes by the time I was 15, 16, 17 years old. You understand what I'm saying? So I was raised on survival. I had to teach myself everything that I know. And I shout out to my adopted mom that comes on this show. That Miss Aileen, she comes on the show. She drops her little bars. Everybody loves it here.
Don't cut off the applause for mom.
No, I'm not going to cut off my applause for my mom. But I also want everybody to know that Dr. Walker has also helped me through that time as well. So I want to shout her out too, because I've known this woman. So when I'm in my crazy, just know I'm talking to somebody, okay? And I've been talking to this person for so many years, and she's helped me. But I was raised off of survival. I only know transactional love. I only know the dollar. I only know what you do for me. That's how I can determine what you like, how you love me. What have you done for me lately? Is my first mind. My second mind is something different. So I'm learning to be better. But me being a woman that's involved with someone who was raised off love is so different for me. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody have dated before then was not raised off love. They was also raised off of survival. So sometimes survival, we butt heads. And it doesn't work the way that we want it to work. Because we're both trying to survive still in a relationship where we're trying to build love. One person's always going to be trying to build love and the other person is going to be trying to survive. No, you got to come to somebody who understands love. Because the person that, when I say that, let me get myself together. When I say that the person that is one person going to be trying to build love, that's the person that is in survival mode, that is trying to grow, and that is in a transformation, a metamorphosis stage. They're trying to go through the self-discovery phase of themselves, and they want love. They want more for themselves. So often at times, me being a person, because I always say to our viewers and everything, you attract what you are in the moment. If I'm in the streets, I'm going to attract the streets. If I'm trying to be a better person, I'm going to be attracting better people to me. That's the energy type of thing. So being with a person that was raised off of love, our worlds are too different. And we have to come together. And what makes us work is the fact that we both understand that. She's willing to understand and say, you was raised off of survival. She said to me today, babe, I learned so much about you today with this topic. I can't believe that I learned so much about you. And it's like things that I was saying, but it's like she wasn't believing me, but now she understands it because she read it for herself or she looked into it for herself. You know what I mean? So it's deep. It's deep. The survival and the love thing. No, listen, if you was raised off of survival, you need therapy. You need to speak to somebody on a daily because first of all, you want to get with someone who knows love. So that they can teach you love. Because someone that was raised on survival can only teach you what you already know. Challenge yourself. Dr. Walker, I'm going to let you sew this one up for us. You know? Oh, I'm sorry. Did Mason go? Mason,
I'm going to say Mason has to, I mean, if it's, yeah, sure.
Did he go?
No. I definitely went first.
He went first. I'm like, wait, I know he went.
So it's lots of different ways to perceive this information. And one thing that everyone would want to be mindful of, and I use that word mindful because we all are entitled to perspectives, right? So me knowing you, do I call you by your real name or have to go by one of them AKAs?
Call me Kori.
Okay.
So the vessel.
Me knowing you, what I can say about you is that your life started off in love, right? Trauma happened and it turned into survival, but then your survival turned into your quest for love. So you don't give yourself the credit that I've seen you develop into. I just want to put that out there for you. And sometimes in growing up in single adult households, the survival is the only love a parent can give to a child because they want to see that child make it out. I can give you in my own transparency, I was raised in love because my mother took care of the survival. My mother was the one who had to hit the streets and do what needed to be done to make sure that I lacked for nothing. And my return to her was making sure I became something so that her sacrifice wasn't wasted. So whether it's love and you're being embraced by a 2-family household or one single family, whatever that love looked like, it's the love you had to go and develop into. So there's nothing about the survival that's wrong. The survival taught you the opposite of what you wanted for yourself. Look at your life. Your situations taught you how to love your children because you learned how to survive. But in that survival, there was some love still put in you, whether it was from Aileen, whether it was from me, or anyone else who played a part in your life, because we loved you and wanted the best for you. And that's all that love is. It's wanting the best for someone when they can't get the best for themselves. But it always comes back down to that core.
Come on.
Mason, where's the
We not interrupting her. When she's on that roll, we gonna wait till she finishes, and then we gonna give her applause, because I want everybody to hear everything she's saying.
That's right. I know that's right, Mason.
It's subjective, because the only thing that sometimes what takes you out of the idea of love, and that's love for yourself and love for others, is the trauma that you go through. So those traumas and those unresolved traumas and those recognized avoided traumas are the disturbances that turn your love into a fight, and you have to run. Because sometimes when love comes to you, you don't know what that is, and you out. You want to love who? What? No, I gotta go, because you get scared.
Wow.
No, it's bringing it back in. It's bringing it back in. For me, as a therapist, I try to teach or coach my patients on what is your view about love? How do you love you? If no one else in this world existed and it was just you in a mirror, what would you look in that mirror and say to yourself about love? And that's one of the hardest exercises that anyone had to do, to look in the mirror and tell yourself why I am love, and not my experience. I'm done.
I know that's right.
Give it up,
I know that's right. I know that's right.
Yum the Mongo.
Everything.
So I want to, I love you and I want to thank you, but I want to ask you this, and this is for the viewers who don't, who doesn't know this. Why you touched on it, but I want to say it blatantly. I'm gonna say what I have, and then you tell me if I'm right. How about that? I like that. So, so if you're raised on love, your circumstances or situations that the average didn't have to endure, such as poverty, parental abuse, or addictions and stuff like that, will be different. You're always focused on survival. What does that look like? That looks like very transactional approaches to things. That looks like lack of emotion. That looks like increased value for money and overly experienced at a young life. Those are the people that was raised on survival. The people who are raised on love. You were raised on security, support, and positive reinforcement. A lot of people don't know about those positive reinforcements. You view some model of love and behavior between two individuals. Like, you know what real love looks like between your mom, your dad, or whoever may have raised you. You know what that looks like. Like, a lot of the times when I'm talking to my fiance, I don't know what that looks like. I'm like, girl, I don't know what that looks like. I just, listen, you talking about what? You said partnership, teamwork. Everybody here know I'm horrible with the teamwork. I ain't the team player. I ain't that. So she teaches me that. Shut up, bitch.
I ain't say one word. I did not interrupt you.
So, family love.
You did good this week on teamwork, though. You did good this week on teamwork. We acknowledged that. Did we not acknowledge that this week? Did we not give you your props this week? Right? I just want you to know we acknowledge you this week.
Thank you so much. I'm trying to be a better person. So family love is your first experience. It molds how we love and how we grow. You know what I mean? And how we understand and how we receive love. If you've never had that, then you may not know how to receive it. When you really finally feel, like she said, I'm a run. Yes, I'm running. Because when I first received love, I was like, Outcomes is self-confidence, because you have now a support system. It might build your confidence. This is the person that was raised on love. Let me tell you something. I know I don't want to keep talking about her, but side panel is the most confident person that I have ever met in my life. Like, I just don't even, I'd be like, where did you get this from? No, she's confident as fuck. Like, I just want to say. You have security because it's consistency. And love is consistency, guys.
No, that's right.
Love is consistency. Good communication. If you was probably made off of survival, you do not have good communication skills. As much as I think that I have good communication skills, and I'm like,
Come on, girl. Come on, girl.
Dr. Marco.
That's what's up.
I'm a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Ask Dr. Walker. Okay, so you may express the way you express your emotions, the way you may resolve conflict, because my way to resolve conflict is not the right way to resolve conflict. For the people out there listening to me, I'm telling you a disclaimer right here on Hush Your Mouth. I'm telling you, don't listen to me on a good drunk night. I might be like, kill him. No. Don't open the bag.
Get rid of the bag.
But you also, lastly, have a sense of belonging. Being raised on love makes you feel important. It makes you feel valued. It makes you feel respected. It makes you not have to seek validation from nobody. So all them people on the internet that's out here seeking validation, you might need to go check that.
Say it again.
Check that.
Say it one more time. I just need to say it again.
All right.
Come again, Selecto. One time. Shoot. What's up?
So that was my take on it. Dr. Walker, was I right?
There are a lot of key points in which, yes, you're 100% right. And I am really big on perspective. I'm also big on mindfulness. Because if you take what you said and you can compass it in one word, what would that word be?
Self-love. Oh, that's two.
No.
That's 2 words. Sorry, that was it? That wasn't it? That wasn't right? What was it?
All the things that you denoted in your explanation.
It was love.
No.
Oh,
everything that all the negative components that you denoted were all under fear.
Oh.
All the things. No. I'm just talking about what you denoted was fear. Like you took a whole lot of situations when you said transactional love, because what does that do? It gives you self-protection, self-preservation. It's also it's tit for tat. It's petty. That's petty love.
Come on now.
Petty love.
Hold on, Mason. Got an extra toe in that one.
The reason why it's petty love, because it's only reciprocal based off of what you give me, I'm gonna give you. If you don't give me, I'm not gonna give you. And is that love? That's like a bank statement. If you put something in, I'm gonna give something out. You don't put nothing in, you're not gonna eat tonight. You're gonna be hungry.
You give from the heart.
It's petty. So either you love with the intention of taking the risk of what that heartbreak may be, because you mentioned that as well, or you don't love at all, because it's not selfless love, it's selfish.
That's selfish.
Petty. And when you talked about the good communication, it's not so much a good communication, it's effective communication. And there are keys to effective communicating that can dispel those things. But what the issue is? No one wants to have the real talk because no one wants to get their toes stepped on.
Come on. The real talk. Talk about it. Talk about it. How you want to have a real talk?
I can't. All right. So the next question, because this was a 2-part question. So how do you get out of childhood survival mode? Dr. Walker.
Childhood trauma is not something that's easily deconstructed because no one wants to really recognize what that trauma was. No one wants to look at the abuse that they succumbed to as a child as trauma. They want to avoid it, get past it, and pretend it never happened. And what happens as adults, when anything looks like it's going to come to hurt you, you can either act out, and acting out can be turning into domestic violence, both male against female and female against male. Let's be very clear about that. It can be very provoking. So in order to deal with your childhood trauma, you have to go to therapy or really have the support system who wants to be accountable. Because one thing about trauma is that the person who's the victim wants the person who victimized them to take responsibility. And that does not always happen. It doesn't always happen. So are you willing to let go of that trauma in your time and in your space, recognizing the biggest part of that release is in the forgiveness? And like we always say, and that we all have heard, forgiveness sometimes is not for them. It's really accepting the sorry that you're never going to get. Can you do that? What's happening here?
I'm sorry. I was waiting for you to stop, take a breath so we can. I want to highlight that.
I want to say, I'm gonna counteract this conversation. You just pointed something out to me that I didn't know. So me and you have this conversation often where you tell me that I'm still traumatized by my past. And you just proved to me that I'm still traumatized by my past, because the one thing that I always say that I want to happen is I just realized that that's why I'm traumatized, because that person is never going to take responsibility for their actions. So I'm still in survival mode because of that. Even though I have everything that I want and I know that I'm able to physically attain everything that I need as a person on my own independence and with the partner only asks me. But it's like, I can't get out of that survival mode, right? I'm still working on that. And I tell my partner every day, like, I'm a work in progress every day. I try to be better every day. Like, I feel like I have overcome so much as a person. If you know my life story, then you know I've overcome so much, but I can't release survival mode from here because that person is here or here. And that was something that was real deep for me, and you touched me. So I'm going to say that for myself. But go ahead.
See, I think you deserve that. That's why you deserve that, Kori. So you got everything.
Well, it was weird, your answer. I'm glad that she did let you speak first, because my answer to that question was, I don't know.
So she made you hush your mouth now?
No.
Oh, no, she helped you.
I don't know trauma. I didn't have any childhood trauma. I didn't know trauma until I was 20-something years old, living on my own. That was the first time I ever encountered trauma. And I wanted to run. I didn't, and I stayed. And what I realized today when she said that, I have a lot of resentment. Because I never knew what it was like to struggle. I never had to do this. I could have went back home. I stayed. And then the unappreciative moments and stuff made me realize just now when she said that, yeah, I am resentful. Because I went through something that I really didn't have to. Because I loved you. Because I loved you. I stayed and went through the struggle. Because I could have went back home anytime. My father's door was always open. But I stayed. So yeah, I realize it now. I got resentment. I'm angry because I stayed through all of that to go through what? You know, so you made me realize something. Because no, I don't know struggle. I have never been to trauma. I'm sorry that I didn't. And maybe I wasn't compassionate enough because I didn't know. You know, I've never experienced anything. Everything that I ever had or wanted was always given to me. You know what I mean? So when I became grown and I had to struggle for it and live in a house where we had to build everything from scratch, the bathroom and everything, I stayed in there dumping buckets of my kids using the bathroom. I did all of that because I loved you. I believe in love. I am a hopeless romantic. I love to love. And when I don't get that back, I know I deserve better. I'm okay with saying I'm mad. I resent the fact that I went through all of that to get somebody's ass to kiss. I'm okay with saying that. And I'm glad that you had her here because she made me realize it ain't me. I can't change who I was. I'm sorry that I never had to go to survival mode. Mm-hmm. That's not my fault.
You don't be sorry for that.
That's not my fault.
You don't be sorry
but
for
I
that.
was. I was sorry all this time. Up until today, I've been sorry. I've been sorry trying to eat it's my fault. No, it ain't my fault. It ain't my fault that God gave me the hand he gave me. I'm sorry. I don't know those things. And because of who I am, that's why you seek me. Because ain't nobody gonna love you as much as I love you. I love hard and I love real.
People that was raised on some love or love do love harder than people that was raised on survival. That is absolutely true. I believe that. I do. Me personally. But Mason, go ahead, make your point. Because I'm sorry,
we only on question number 2. Yeah, and we an hour in. But I'll summarize mine with saying that I don't think you ever get out of childhood's survival mode. I think that it's constant work. It's like an addiction. It's like any other situation where you're constantly working on it. You've got to be mindful of it and constantly work for it. Me, just like Kori, I was raised on survival. I had love too, but it was just me. I was fending for myself. My mother was always working, so she was just, trying to provide, trying to do the best she can, or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, I felt like it was always me. I never had a support system. I didn't have cousins, brothers, or anybody to help me. I had to figure it out all on my own, and that still lives within me. And Kori knows it's like, oh, I'm figuring this tech stuff out, and I'm running down these rabbit holes because that's how I've always been. That's how I've learned to survive from the time I was a kid. So I think that I'm conscious of that. I'm conscious that I'm always in survival mode because I've had no support system. I don't know what it's like to have a support system or a strong support system. I see other people with it. Now, I'm like, that's cool, but I have no clue what that is. So for me, it's a constant work and it's constant effort to get out of childhood survival mode. But for me, it's no end to it. It's a continuous work. So that's my opinion on getting out of that. I think I was quick with it.
You was quick. I don't think I answered really, but I did answer a little bit. I didn't answer. I responded.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you did. I thought that was your answer. I apologize.
It's my favorite thing. Respond. So I personally feel like the best way for me, because I do know that I need to be out of survival mode. I no longer feel the need to have to be that way. So I'm trying to shed that skin. I'm trying to shed that person. I'm trying to leave that person behind because that person got me to where I wanted to be. Now I'm here. I'm here to stay. I ain't going nowhere, right? It's only up. It can never be the bottom. So I feel like for me, I need to do more like emotional type of things. Like I'm like so hard as a person. Like I don't express myself the way that a woman should express herself. Like a lot of women talk about femininity, and I don't got that. But I'm like the most feminine girl you could probably meet. I like the perfumes and the stuff, and I like to do my makeup and my baby.
Gloss, coutures.
You know what I'm saying? Like I like all of that. But when you talk to me as a person, no, I'm like this. It's blank. So for me, I want to learn how to be like less aggressive, more gentle, more kind. And I want to be less busy because I'm always in survival mode because I feel like I always have to be doing something. I always have to be doing something. If I'm not doing something with myself, I'm doing something with my kids, even though people don't see it because I don't post my kids publicly. That's my own privacy. But I feel like my busyness is a badge of honor. I know, bitch, I'm always on the move. Oh, yeah, no, be great over here. Guess what? But that's a form of survival. And my fiance told me that, like, yo, you don't always got to be doing something. Like, you don't know how to chill. No, I don't know how to chill. Because what Kori said, I ain't got no time to chill. I pay my mama's bills. Y'all know how it go here on Hush Your Mouth. Listen.
It's Cardi's bars, but it's bars nevertheless.
Miss Luca want to say something so bad. Go ahead, Dr. Walker.
Because I like to challenge. I love challenge questions. And part of techniques I use in session is all the things you said you want to be or you want to do, why can't you?
What do you mean? Be like softer?
You said you want to be softer, you want to be gentle, you want to be more feminine, you want to be all these wonderful things. What's stopping you?
My experiences in life and the way my brain works is what's stopping me. The way my first mind. So I always talk about.
Wait. Stop. Because you're going to go ahead of yourself. The first thing that comes to you is that your mind stops you, right? But this is the same mind that just manifested the things that it wanted. So how is it that you're going to have the same thought with a ruminating negative thought? So what thought is going to take precedence? You already know what you've been through. You know what your experiences were. And you've already outlined what you want for your future. So at what point in your thought process do you stop the negative ruminating thoughts and you begin to say, this is who I am? When do you claim that identity?
Ouch. Oh, you heard what she said?
I'm gonna hush next week. She got to come back for part 2. We got to continue this. I need her back next week. For real, we ain't finished.
I'm gonna hush my mouth on that one. We need to jump into the comments real quick because we are only on question 3, but we have not addressed our audience.
Okay.
So, can you teach someone to love you that was raised on survival? Dr. Walker.
I only see your name as J Storm, and I'm praying that's what I'm supposed to call you.
No. This is to Althea P. Mason, put it back on the screen.
No, I'm talking. I know what the question is, but I'm saying she answered the question when she spoke about how she was raised off of love, and the person she was involved in was raised off survival, and how they balanced each other and taught one another. So the thing about teaching something and even self-teaching is, are you in a place to learn? Because you can want to be taught a whole lot, but if you're in a place to learn, you're not going to learn nothing.
I'm taking her home.
So you're going to keep it.
Taking her home.
Okay.
And I don't mean to offend anybody. I'm not trying to be offensive, but that's for anything that we want. Like you just said, you want these things, and are you willing to be taught those things? Are you willing to sit?
Miss Dr. Walker, you're like going in and out for us over here. Is that what's happening for you too, Mason? Are you able to hear her?
Yeah. Yeah, she froze a little bit.
Froze up.
She's froze.
She was making a good point too.
Oh my God. You see me? I'm like
Now, I'm hoping that she just clears up without us having anything.
But I'm gonna have to. I don't even know, my phone's not here. Let me text her on the computer. But in the meantime, we'll just continue addressing the audience. So Yvonne Griffith at 912 said, I was raised on survival and it was hard, but I never gave up. Okay, well, shout outs to you, Yvonne. Absolutely. While I figure out what's going on with oh my God, good. Yes. Yes, girl, you here today for Hush Your Mouth. Cause she's hushing her mouth tonight. Oh, Dr. Walker cut out.
Oh wow.
Mason, go on the next question, Akmel, and then let me.
Next question. So we on 3. So it's been an hour and we're on question number 3.
This might be a
what is the
2-part episode.
It's like 4 parts. All right, she's back. I mean, it's just that good, I think. There we go.
Damn. They said this is a 2-part. So, Dr. Walker, I want to tell you that they said that this is a 2-part episode. They said that. Are you able to hear us? Are you able to hear us?
Yeah.
Okay, you had cut out. You were getting a little
Yeah, I
blurry
think
there.
it's just my Wi-Fi.
Tell Jordan I said stop playing with the Wi-Fi over there. Okay. All right. Dr. Walker, I don't know if you remember where you were at in your thoughts. Something going on.
Somewhere internet.
This is our first time here on Hush Your Mouth doing this with
saying is that you have to
trying to fix it. It's the Wi-Fi on her end.
It's technical difficulties over here.
She was in another good point just now.
Yeah, she was in another.
I heard the start of it and then she cut out.
She paid for her time. So let me tell y'all people, if y'all want to book her, hit me up in the DMs, ask me how. In the meantime, we're going to address the comments. So Chanel, shout out to you, Chanel. I love you. Welcome to Chanel. I feel like I feel like love of self teaches you love. It teaches you compassion with others because you got to master it with self. And that's hard because we are harder in ourselves than anyone. Yes. So, sister, I hear you because that's usually taught in survival mode because there is no time. Yes. I hear you. I'm here for you on this one. This one don't know about survival mode. That one knows about survival mode. But me personally, I really do agree with you because I be like, I don't got no time. Like there's no sense of time. I could die today. I could die tomorrow. I don't have time. I need to do what I can do today.
Sorry.
Hi, welcome back. Are you good? Did you touch your Wi-Fi box?
I touched everything that I could possibly put my hands on. I don't know what happens.
So we were
good right now.
We were addressing Chanel Marrow's statement where she says, I feel like love of self teaches you love. It teaches you compassion with others because you got to master it with self. And that's hard because we are harder in ourselves than anyone. That usually isn't taught in survival mode because there is no time. You know what I mean? But I feel like at some point in time during my survival mode, I was taught self-love. Honestly. I was taught to like the love that I have for myself is the love that I give to my children. And you know what? That's because I was in a little bit more of a fortunate situation. And people don't think this though about me now. And I'm going to teach you something real quick. People don't think that because I was raised in foster care that I learned certain things. Like they think that foster care is so horrible and it's so bad. No, I was grateful enough because it can be bad. But I was so grateful enough to be able to be taught these things about self-love. We had conversations about how heavy I am in self-love. No, if I don't love myself, my kids can't get the person that they need. I won't show up to the work that I do as the person that I need to be. So I was taught that. I'm very compassionate about others. I'm very, like, my journey and my path is to help others. My story is someone else's story. And the way that I overcame my story is the way someone else is going to overcome their story. Now, Dr. Walker, you was cut off. We were all disappointed.
I'm sorry. Blame it on
you were hanging on every word. Heavy word.
So, here's the thing. Like I said, I like to do challenge questions. If you were raised in survival, you know what that looks like. Can you choose to grow up in love?
I think you can.
I don't. So.
Well, you was raised in love.
I was raised in love. But I learned how to live in survival mode. So I definitely have to say, I think that's what I was going to say about what you said earlier. I don't want you to ever think that you growing up in survival mode made you any different or less than. Okay? No. I don't ever want any woman to think that or any person. That's not what I mean. What I'm saying is I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to jump into survival mode. Okay? I'm going to tell you the truth. I believe that showing somebody how to love can be a whole lot easier than trying to teach somebody how to be survival. Okay? I really believe that. Okay? That's real. Because in my mind, I don't know struggle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know this stuff.
So really the person that's raised in love is I don't want to say it like this, but the weakling. The weakling.
It's not the weak, but it is. Listen.
Survival is needed.
No, but
it's
listen,
necessary.
No, but without love, because every person in survival mode, they need love. So
you know what
you
it
need
is?
that person. That's where the balance come out. That's why they say, I believe that's where the opposite attract at for me, because where you went through survival mode, and
so this is the thing. Don't talk about me because
I'm talking about me.
I'm just saying though, because what you just said, I'm gonna just say it like this. When I was in survival mode, I became in the highest survival mode when I was with my kid. I got my kid at 16. Mm-hmm. So for me, I've been in survival mode since 14 really, but 16 every day, because now it's somebody else depending on me. You understand what I'm saying? So my active survival, I was doing that survival mode because I could have been one of those parents that been like, you know what? I ain't got time because I'm 16. I want my foster mother who gets paid to do this to take care of my baby. No, everybody that knows me knows that my baby was with me every day, day in and day out. If I was outside in the park at 12 o'clock, then guess what? My baby was outside at 12 o'clock. And you know what? That might not have been the best thing to do. And it wasn't. But that was me taking care of my baby. That was me.
Your survival
that was my survival mode. Listen,
that's what I'm saying. Nobody got a right to judge that.
Nobody got it. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I'm just only speaking from my own personal experiences, and that's how I only could come to hush your mouth. Yeah. You know what I mean? I can only come to you as who I am and what I am, and what I have learned and what I know now to be true. That's it. So, yeah, like survival mode is different than the person that's learn love. And I'm sorry, I cut your throat.
That's okay. Cool. I'm good.
All right. Mason, we just cut you off one night. I'm sorry. I feel like you ain't getting no ear
Nah, I'm here for it though. I'm listening.
Yeah, so they said we grow up on one survival mode 1000. We want Dr. Walker back next week, please. Because Dr. Walker is down. All right, so let's go to question number 3. Y'all ready for question number 3? Because we only have 3.
All right.
Y'all here for 3?
We didn't even get to the second segment yet.
Whoever here needs to type 3 so we can stay on. Because
3 will finish the segment.
3? I don't know where the segment is.
That's the segment.
Okay, so what is the power of parental love and support? What do you think that is, Mason?
Power of parental love and support.
Oh, my notes.
I didn't read. I was trying to.
Kori, you got long notes for this one. You go first.
All right, so I'll go first. Dr. Walker.
Got a lot of notes for this one.
So we can end that one. All right, so I have parents are your first experience with love, right? That's who you first. So it's so funny because last night I was talking to somebody for the first time, and she said to me in our conversation, she's like, "Oh, you got mommy trauma?" I was like, "Bitch, what? You don't know me. You just meet me for fucking 25 minutes. How you know I got mommy fucking trauma?" Like, and I do have mommy trauma. You know what I'm saying? So she's like, "Oh, it's okay." Because I was like, well, at first, my first answer was, "No, bitch, I don't got no fucking mommy trauma." I'm sorry, Dr. Walker, she would never hear me talk like this. But I'm just going to hush your mouth today. So I was like, I don't have no mommy trauma. But then I had to catch myself like, damn, do you got mommy trauma? Maybe I do got mommy trauma because my mother wasn't there the way that I wanted to be, which is why I said to Dr. Walker what I said on question 2. And so she said, I also have mommy trauma because my mom didn't bring me home from the hospital. And I was like, oh. And as she started to explain it to me, I understood more what mommy trauma was. So shout outs to you, friend. And that's your first experience of love. They set your expectations. They set your standards of what love is. They model to you love. And they instill your values, morals, and your principles that you will carry with you for a lifetime. So the power of parental love is so important because they give you fulfillment. They give you kind of like, I want to say desire, but I don't know if I'm using the right word to describe that. You don't have to search in the world for what you have at home. So that's the importance of parental love to me. Love and support. You know, you're able to maintain and a consistent relationship of happiness with others because you develop that at home.
I want to hear.
Why? Mason said, you want to hear Mason's point of view? Tell him.
I want to hear a man's point of view.
Mason.
I'm for real, like on that right there, because that's a total difference, I think.
Okay, but wait, before I let you go, it's essential.
It's essential.
It's essential for emotional development of an individual. All right, go ahead, Mason. I just want to let you know.
I knew you had to get it out. Pause. For me, I guess in my particular case, I would say I am one of those scenarios where I give a lot of what I didn't receive. And I, for one, I'm super loving, super supportive of my kids because I don't feel that the support and the love, even though the want to do a lot of things, I don't think that I was receiving it at an early age the way I probably needed to. It was more survival. And the reason being that, you know, somebody loves you enough to make sure you have things that are important to them. So, for instance, if my love language is gifts, all right, I'm going to show my child love by giving them gifts and things of that nature. But if what my child is yearning for is words of affirmation, I'm not giving my child what I need, but I'm giving him or her all the love that I possibly can. So for me, I think that I am doing everything that I possibly can, knowing that to make sure I give my kids everything that they need, support, love, everything that I didn't have, I'm making sure that my kids have. Knowing these things and knowing that it's important to love people the way they want to be loved and not so much the way that I've received love, I pay extra attention to what they want, what they need, and things of that nature. How important is it? It's very important. I think a support system is important. I think love is important. And I think that giving your children that is probably the biggest key to life. I think that's the biggest head start besides financial awareness. I think love and support is probably the biggest head start you could give to your child because the confidence, everything else will fall in line after you give them the love and support that they need. Not so much that you need or you feel that they need, but that they need. So assessing that and giving them all those things is probably the most important thing. So
before Mel answers, I kind of want to say to you, how do you know what it is that you need to give them? Because me being a mom at 16, I still didn't know, because I never received it, I didn't know how to give it. That's real shit. And when I first had my son, you know how everybody, and I this might be the first time I'm ever publicly saying this, besides people who truly know me, but when I first had my kid, I was like, you know how people say, I thought there was something wrong with me for this. People say they love their children unconditionally from the moment that they saw them. That's a lie. For me, that's a lie. Like, I did not love my kid from the moment that I seen him or the moment that I was carrying him and the moment that I heard his heartbeat. No, I did not. But I love him unconditionally today because of who he is to me and what we have been through, what he has been through with me and all that. That's the survival shit. You know what I'm saying? That's my dog because that's my dog. That's it. It ain't nothing to talk about when it comes to that. But how do you know what to teach them? Because me being with a person that was raised on love, she tells me that my love language to my children is money because I give them all the experiences and everything that I've never had. My kids live a life that they will never know. You will never think that they live the life. Like, they think the shit that they got is normal. I be like, are you serious? Like, it's just so
seafood every day.
Like, Mason, I talk to you about this shit every day. I be like, you're not dead ass. You're not.
Oh, man.
And I don't understand how they're not because this is normal for them. But it's not normal for me. So we live in two different worlds, even in my own household. Mm-hmm. So the power of parental, I will say for my kids, they're at an advantage because my mentality is always going to be my mentality to an extent because that's where I derive from. So my kids, even though they live in the suburbs and they live in a different type of lifestyle than I grew up in, I still instill the morals and the values in which I have been raised in into them to some extent, but I try to tweak it to where they at now because they need this tweaking. You can't be going out there slapping people with helmets. All right, go ahead now.
Hold on. Let me just say one thing. Let me jump back in there. Pause. So you asked, how do I know what they need and how do I assess that? I think for me, it's the awareness. Like, I think being aware of that, the simple fact that people receive love differently. Me being aware of that brings me to ask questions that probably most parents wouldn't ask. I ask about how they feel about things. I ask about what they think about things. I provoke thought and gather that information and assess that information, and then I disperse what they need. So it's like with any relationship, you got to listen. Kids are smart. Kids are extremely smart. I learned that about my kid at an early age when she would take the Toys R Us paper when it's Christmas time. She would take the little booklet. You remember those little booklets that came in the mail, came in the newspapers? She would take that and she would make a list and she would she didn't even know what reading was, but she would copy the words down of the toys that she wanted. So she would make her Christmas at a very early age. She would make her Christmas. I think she was like 3, and she would make her Christmas list, and that's how she would make her Christmas list. So for me, it was paying attention to those things like that. That's something I'll never forget, and I'll probably tell her that for years. And she just built her own computer at 14 this summer. So I mean, it's just things like that. It's things like that. You assess what they want, you assess what they need, and then you give them what they need. So it's the same thing that works for your partner as well. Like just being aware and conscious and making that effort. That's why I told you about childhood trauma never ends. It's something that you continuously work on. So I'm continuously working on making sure that the things that affected me is not the same things that affect my kids. It's not the same things that will affect my relationships. It's not the same things that will affect my friendships. Like my trauma isn't your trauma, and it doesn't need to be. And it stops with me because of my awareness. But that's all I had to say.
For me, it's a whole nother angle for me. Parental love. I grew up with that. Mm-hmm. And because the first time I encountered the survival mode, I felt I wasn't ready because of the parental love that I had. So what happened to me with my kids was, I didn't do the same thing with my kids that my father did with me, my parents did with me. I kind of put my kids to struggle a little bit more because I did not want my kids to run at the first sight of a struggle. You know what I mean? That was the parental, for me, I loved them enough to not make, and I'm not saying my father made mistakes, but what I'm saying is, I didn't want my kids to be unprepared. So that was my parental love.
Do you feel like you was unprepared at some point?
Yes. Yeah. When we went through our first struggle of survival, I didn't know how to survive because I didn't know, I never been through anything. So I think when we talk about parental love and support for me, that's what I really felt was strong for me when it came to my family. I had to change the pattern of how my father did it and do it different and teach my kids a different type of parental love. My parental love was like, I'm here for you, but I'm gonna let them go through it. They had to go through the trenches a little bit. I was there. If they fell, I was there to pick them up. But I let my kids go through a little bit more struggle than I did. And people might feel like that was kind of like, oh, you didn't have to struggle. But because I didn't struggle, when struggle came, I was ready to run. Yes, you know what I mean? So that parental love that I looked at it, when I say from a different perspective, I didn't look at it as I looked at it both ways. What happened to me made me want to be different with the parental love that I gave my kids. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying I had a great life. I'm not taking that. But what I'm saying is when trauma happened or anything happened, I didn't know how to function. I didn't know how to deal with it. But my kids, they got the best of both worlds. They had a parent that knew how to survive and a parent that loved the hell out of them. So us two together, we made them way different. Our kids are built different than us, way different than us. You know what I mean? Because they got what both of us had to get. So that's what I really feel like I was needing. Dr. Walker, you're next.
Oh yeah, what do you think, Dr. Walker? We said a lot. We talked a lot.
But I mean, parental love foundationally is what brings a child to the core values, the beliefs, the morals, and those things. And absent from parental love, you will develop what's called separation anxiety at a very early age. But everything that you guys said, again, it's owned to you. It's owned to your child. I love challenge questions, because being in a household full of love, being in a household full of survival, you learn two very unique things. In a household that's run on survival, you learn what it is you want, and that's love. And that's what you begin to produce in your life for the ones in your life, your children, your mates, whomever. It's harder to learn survival when you're raised with a love, because all you know is support and sheltering in a sense, and it's not a negative. But when you are raised in a negative, it produces a positive. It's almost like you envision what you want your life to be like, and it won't be like mine. So you do pay attention, and even like Kori said, like when she would have her son and he would be in the park, and that was her survival. In essence, it wasn't so much of survival, it was what she knew to do to take care of her child. So it's almost like taking that word survival and really understanding that it was her way of covering what belonged to her. And that's why it's so important, even as a young mother, that she did those things, because it gave him something that she didn't have, someone who was consistently and constantly there. And that was the parental love. So it's almost like the example she gave with the young lady whose mom left her at the hospital. I'm sure that she had separation anxiety, because if my own mother, it is probably from things she heard, because that separation is more so an emotional removing of someone who literally carried you in the womb. So you'll have a longing for that person, opposed to somebody who abandoned you. So it comes from two different sides. But definitely parental love is the structure of the foundation in which you are raised.
Give her her flowers.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure everything was done. Not covering up anything she's saying. She's giving a lot of jewels right now.
So, like we said, this is a real deep topic. This is deep. This is deep. Pause. Because this is the second part to this question, and we're only on question 3. So I think after this, we're going to cut it. Because we have a total of 6 questions. 6 and some change. 6 questions. If y'all want us to stay on, comment. If y'all don't. Huh?
I gotta work at 8:30 in the morning.
Okay, so no, we cutting it. No, we cutting it. We cutting it after this question, because this is the second part to this question. So after this, thank you for joining Hush Your Mouth, because yeah. So the question was, what are the results from a strained relationship with parental figures for both men and women? What are the results, Nathan? What do you think the results are? You want me to tell you mine?
I'll go first real quick. For me, I think that those things manifest in your other relationships. I think those things manifest in your relationships with your future wife. I think those things manifest in your relationships that you'll have with whoever you have any type of dealing with. Sometimes it's even friends. So I think that relationship is the catapult to how your relationship goes with other people. If you saw a loving, communicative relationship with your mother and father, or your mother and stepfather, or whoever, male and female figures, or female, whatever figures that you saw as your parental units, if you saw love in those relationships, I think that's where you dispense that. So for me, your relationship with your mother as a man, I think plays a big role in how you see women, what women are supposed to do for you, how you see women love men, and how you receive love from your mother, maybe how you want to be or how you want to receive love from your significant other. So I think that plays a huge role. I think something else that plays a huge role is fathers and daughters that we don't really talk about as much. I think we have to talk about that a lot more, because I think that that's huge. And, you know, as a father's daughter is like, that's a huge thing for me. And being a positive role model, you should never be tricked by anybody out there as long as I'm giving you game. So that's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. It's the little things. So for me, it's very important. And I think it shapes your expectations in relationships. It shapes your boundaries in relationships. It shapes your boundaries in friendships. It'd be like, nah, like that is not how it's gonna go. And my daughters are opinionated on, no, that's not how I like. That's not what I like, and that will not happen because you have that confidence. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing with sons and mothers. Like you're teaching him lessons without even saying a word because they're watching.
So for me, this question kind of like hit home a lot. A lot of these questions hit home for me. This was like therapy inside of therapy. And I'm going to tell you out. So the result is from mommy issues and daddy's issues is because, one, I have mommy issues apparently. It's so ironic that I don't have daddy issues. I never really had daddy issues. I don't think I ever had that. And I never really had a dad. And my sister is here watching in the comments, and she lived with our dad. But I never really had daddy issues. That's so crazy. But for some reason, I got mommy issues. I don't know. Apparently, I learned that today and last night. It was confirmed today. It was learned last night. Welcome to fucking Hush Your Mouth. All right. Daddy issues.
For your learning, not for your daddy issue.
And now, you know what? It's funny because I have a daughter, right? And now this might be your first time hearing this perspective on this, and I really want to hear what you got to say about this. And Dr. Walker knows about this. I said I talked to her, right? I talked to her. Okay. So she knows about this and how I feel about it. I don't think I ever grew up with daddy issues, as I said, but I want to make sure my daughter does not grow up with daddy issues. While we both know our dads in the same way, I now have an understanding that maybe my parent did not have. Now, I'm grateful that I had a brother to raise me. And now Dr. Walker knows my brother. She knows he raised me. She knows what he meant to me. And he taught me the game. How Mason said, like, I'm here teaching you the game. My brother taught me the game. So I didn't need no dad to teach me no game because I had somebody to do that. My son is not, although I had a son, my son's experiences is not like the average male's experiences. He lives a completely different life, as I had mentioned before. So he's not going to be able to teach my daughter the game because he still got to figure out the game for himself. Okay? Period. Now, the way I handle my daughter with her father, her parental figure relationship, is I don't allow my daughter's life to be a revolving door. You're not allowed to check on my daughter when you want to. You're not allowed to come in for pictures and videos or when events happen. You're not allowed. Like, I set the standard for her life. So she will then, in return, set the standard for her life. Mason, you understand it, but you don't really understand because you're not the dad that does that. You're not the man that does that. You're the opposite of the man that does that. So for me, a lot of people may be like, damn, is that, because he says that I keep my daughter away from him. No, I don't keep my daughter away from me. If you really want your daughter, you'll come and you'll take me to court, right? Like a real man will do. And you'll go get your visitation rights. And you'll do, because that's going to show me that you really want to. But you don't do that. So for me, it's like you just making excuses, which I know that that's who you are, but don't ever try to trick my daughter into thinking that that's what's up. because that's not what's up. A real man is going to go chase after what they want, period. Child, woman, whatever in between, what the fuck ever. Because niggas chase bitches. Chase your daughter.
Not me.
I think she's a bitch.
Not, okay.
But you know what I mean. Look at Dr. Walk over there. She's
you said something that
you don't agree with?
Well, I am a mother who raised my daughter.
Okay.
Me and my wife raised 5 children.
But I just want to know, wait, before you go into your conversation, I want to know, are you one of those parents who believe like, oh, let my children make their own decisions? Because I don't believe in that.
Well,
I don't believe in letting make him. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna stop you ahead of yourself. Okay, we gotta have the conversation.
Listen, you said you make the decision for your daughter.
Yeah.
Okay, so
she's 8.
Hold on. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Oh no.
But what I'm saying to you is, you do make the decision. Mm-hmm. So you do have the control to decide whether he does see her or not, right? Mm-hmm. So you are the one who is keeping him from seeing his daughter, because you just said that he can't.
Your actions keep you from your daughter.
So him not going to the court, him not wanting to put the system in the middle.
Let's be clear.
I'm asking you.
No, I know, because you're learning for the first time.
Yeah.
Y'all are watching this happen. Hush your mouth. Just push up. No. What I'm saying is that
I'm not learning for the first time. Remember, I raised 5.
No, but you're learning for the first time for me.
Yeah, okay.
Because everybody don't have this perspective.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people out there who want to say, oh, I want to make my kids make the decision about their parent. I don't want to talk bad. I don't talk bad about her dad. I don't. But
you still choose whether they get to have a relationship.
Whether or not they have a relationship, because I can see the consistency in your relationship, and I can tell that you are not consistent. You are inconsistent as fuck, and that's not conducive to my daughter's health.
I don't want you to feel no type of way, but I already did this. So I'm gonna tell you.
All right, tell me, OG, because you're the OG.
This is the difference. I have a daughter who is now 26 years old. So when I had her, I did like you. I made the decision that I wasn't going to allow him, because I knew he wasn't stable, to come back and forth in her life. But the day that she wanted to meet her father, okay, you got to remember accountability.
Okay, I can take that.
So the day that she wants to meet her father, I hear what you listen, but I'm saying, I know what you're saying. I feel you, but I'm just trying to tell you from my perspective, because I did this already. I did what you did. So I'm not knocking you for it. But what I'm saying is, when she gets to that age, when she wants to see him, you're going to be amazed at how that flip around on you, that you were the parent that kept her from having a relationship with her father, because you are the one who made the decision. I'm not trying to say you're wrong. I felt the same way. I'm with you. I felt I was doing the right thing. I promise you. But now I look at my daughter. You know what my daughter did just recently? My father died January 20th, and we went to New York to see my father. And he finally popped up. Now, remember, let me just tell you this. I was the one who found him for her and everything to try to build a relationship. They always clash. But then when my father died, he popped up at my father's house to see his child. She grown. Ain't nothing I could say. Because that relationship happened at that moment, I became the bad parent. I became the bad parent. You know why? Because if I had not kept her away from him, they might have been closer a long time ago. That's what I had to hear. That's what I had to live. I thought I was doing what was right for her. I swear, Kori, I know what you're feeling. I feel you on this. I felt like I was doing what was right for my daughter. But whether he choose to come in once a month, once a week, once or whatever.
But you there every day.
I'm there every day. And you know what she did? She brought her father a Father's Day present.
You shut up.
Hush your mouth. She brought her father a Father's Day present. You know why she brought her father a Father's Day present?
Because she never got him one.
No. Because you know what? Because that was her father. Mm-hmm. That was her father.
That was a personal
and the love that she seen me display between me and my father, because of the love that I was displayed between me and my father, she felt like I may have been the reason that she can't see. I understand what you're saying, Kori, but when they get older, it's always going to be what we say.
Yeah.
It's always going to be what
Before I let Dr. Walker speak, I just want to say this. Because Dr. Walker, I know you were holding it down. I got you. Look, 5 minutes. You're the last person to speak on this.
I was about to say, let's let the doc talk.
Part one, you're gonna end this one, Dr. Walker. But I want to say that people who have experienced mommy issues, they result in a lot of depression and anxiety because they're always wondering why. Why me? What happened? My mom is supposed to love me, so on and so forth. Now, the people who experience daddy issues, they start to exhibit more like promiscuity. Promiscuity? Is that the word? Like they have daddy issues. They have horrible relationships with men. I don't want you to disclose whether or not that's the case or whatever.
But you talking about my daughter?
Whoever.
No, my daughter doesn't have any horror. She's been with the same boy since they started in elementary school.
Oh, that's so cute.
Okay,
oh,
JoJo's been together since elementary school because me and my wife have been together for 23 years. So that all my kids know is relationship.
Right.
That's all that was disclosed. And no matter how much you go through, you disclose that to them. So I think
that's
what
a lot
happened.
of women who have a lack of fathers who distribute daddy issues, and daddy issues look like they are revolving doors of men. That's what daddy issues look like.
But that's not all.
That's
There are some. That's not all of them.
No, but
all right, can we let the doc speak a little bit? Like she's been dying. She's been chopping at the bit. Like I saw her like cover her mouth a few times. I saw her make different head movements. I was like, let the doc speak. I think there's a lot to be said.
It's a lot to be said, and just in terms of, and I'll try to really condense it, in terms of the relationship with the father and the daughter, your point is well taken. You want to protect the innocence of your child. I get it. But at the same token, because that little girl, and I know her, she's very wise amongst her years. And I get it. You want him to be consistent, and you may need to have good effective communication with him to establish that and the reasons why. Maybe if he hears how you feel and why you're doing what you're doing, it may spark a bug in him to be consistent, because you would like for her to have a relationship with him despite your feeling, because there's some feelings there that you have yet to acknowledge that also drives your way of thinking. And we'll sidebar that when we're not in front of everyone. The secondary part to it, when you talk about mommy issues and daddy issues, do you realize that subconsciously we, Black people, Latino, whoever, have been taught that when you don't have a mother or a father, especially a father, that you develop these promiscuous behaviors in search of. And sometimes it's what we're fed in our mind that we begin to behave. It's not always that we have promiscuous behaviors, but it's the expectation that, you know what, they said that this would happen to me if my dad wasn't here, so let me act accordingly. And for women or anyone who has mommy issues, it's not so much the depression or the anxiety that drives it, it's more the perfection of why wasn't I enough? And that's for both sides. Why wasn't I enough for you to stay? And why wasn't I enough for you to care? So it's looking at yourself and what you're willing to see for you, and not what someone else is teaching you.
Great.
That's it.
No. So this is
I definitely teach you. Yes.
No, this is a really in-depth conversation. Dr. Wu been setting us straight, and we want to thank her for being on her show.
Yes.
First time appearance, but not the first time guest. All-star though. And I guess you here next week on Thursday for the rest of this conversation, because we got
finish this
5, 6. We got 2 more. We got 2 more. We could fuck it up, or we could just let it go.
Doctor said she has to be up in the morning, so
Respect
respect her time. Respect her time.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
and
like
us.
Like you started in the beginning saying, like, be mindful of your therapist and the people who you talk to, because I need to kind of decompress all of the today, not just with this, but with this patience I had, so I can be really ready for my patients for tomorrow. And I just want to be fresh for everyone. So yeah, I need to,
Thank you so much for joining us here on Hush Your Mouth. Listen, we had a really good time here.
Did we ever? Woo! I was sitting back and taking it all in. I was sitting back and taking it all in, Paul.
Your number? Okay, got you. All right. And so that's it here for Hush Your Mouth. You already know you guys can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Hush Your Mouth ENT on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook, Team Mason TV. You can find me, Kori Deez, at Lemon Squeeze 3_3. Whatever.
She won't be going live anytime soon, though.
Yeah, I'm not going live because I'm in jail. But it's great. And you can find Mel at that liquidation place, but hit her up on J Storms
1973 on Instagram.
1973, because she sell pallets and shit. So whatever y'all need, she got that shit.
And I'm having a community bazaar.
And she's having a community bazaar, guys.
Yeah, we giving out stuff in the community in York, Pennsylvania.
And you can, again,
check me out.
Like if you need like lights, whatever, everything.
Anything, household stuff, anything.
She got it.
I got it.
She got it.
One-stop shop.
Go to IKEA, go to Mel first,
there you
and
go.
then go to IKEA. Mason, they can find you at
IKEA don't pay us, so go to Mel, only Mel, just Mel, nothing else. So you can find me on Instagram at YNVS_it's Mason, and that's it.
No, you can't find me.
Thank you guys for joining Hush Your Mouth.
Wait, Doc, where can we find you?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right here on Hush Your Mouth next week.
Ooh.
You on deck already?
I think that's all that needs to be said. That's all that needs to be said.